All right, welcome guys. Happy Saturday. We got 7 NBA games to go over. Got a limited amount of time, so I'm going to be moving quickly once again, talk about each of these teams. First, let's go over what we know so far, take a look at the Vegas odds, and I'll go team by team, talk about the players I like. DeMar DeRozan available to play. We're still waiting on LMA news. Big news, Mike Conley out. That's a huge boost to Ingles, huge boost to Clarkson. Now they're very much in play. Also, Donovan Mitchell becomes a really good spend up. Let's see. Porzingis is now probable, which hurts the Dallas Mavs value. Kyrie Irving ruled out. Again, changes the entire slate. Now makes Harden a must. Now makes some of that value a lot more viable. Let's see. Brogdon questionable as well. This slate, I'm not going to lie, this could be the worst slate of the year. I would recommend playing super, super light because it's just gross. You're forced into the spend ups at the top. You're left with some just questionable value on teams that just like the minutes fluctuate and all these value guys. I hate this slate. I think it's the worst slate of the year. I would recommend taking the slate off or barely playing, and that's what I'm going to do. And again, I'm always vocal. I'm always honest with you guys when I dislike slates. This slate is terrible in my opinion. All right, so yeah, Conley out. I think that is what we're up to as far as news. Take a look at the Vegas odds. Cavs and 76ers, a 222 over under. The 76ers are 11-point favorites. Timberwolves and Wizards, a 237.5 over under. The Wizards are 4.5-point favorites. Pelicans, Spurs, 234.5 over under. The Pelicans are 2.5-point favorites. Nuggets and Thunder, 221 over under. The Nuggets are 7-point favorites. Pacers, Knicks, 218 over under. The Knicks are 1-point favorites. And Jazz, Magic, 221 over under. The Jazz are 9.5-point favorites. Mavs, Nets, 233 over under. The Nets are 1-point favorites. All right, so let's start off with Cleveland and Philly. On the Cleveland side, let's see. Or do I have Brooklyn still selected too? On the Cleveland side, not a ton I love here. Jarrett Allen, I'm not going to go there. Worried about foul trouble issues against Joel Embiid. Sexton, Garland, no thank you on this slate. There's too many other plays I like in that range. I will never play Isaac Okoro. JaVale McGee is the guy that does intrigue me for tournaments. He's a good point per minute guy. If Jarrett Allen does get in foul trouble, it's JaVale McGee that's coming in. So I feel like you could take a dart in him for GPPs because when the minutes are there, he's a really good point per minute guy. And then, yeah, I guess with like Osman questionable, sure, you can consider these fringe guys like Windler and Dean Wade. But again, these are the guys that are like you got to look to for value on the slate. It is gross. I don't trust it at all. Moving on to the Philadelphia side. So, no Tobias Harris. Makes Joel Embiid a really solid spin up at the top. There's a lot of good spin ups. Are you going to play Joel Embiid over James Harden with no Kevin Durant and no Kyrie Irving? Right? That's the question you got to ask yourself. So, I like Embiid. You can play both if you want to. Again, with no Tobias Harris, he is going to get a usage boost. Has shot the ball terribly too, 6 of 23 or 13, 5 of 20. So, yeah, I do like Embiid at the top if you can afford him. Ben Simmons, more of a contrarian play there at 8-7. And then we just have this, again, I'm going to be saying about this a lot of the value plays here. Osman now doubtful. Again, doesn't do a ton, sure. Play your Dean Wade, play your Dylan Windler. Would rather throw up. But yeah, moving on to the Philadelphia value. Again, this is more gross value. Furkan Korkmaz, Mike Scott, Thibault. These are the guys we got to consider playing on the slate. It is just terrible. I don't really like any of them. I think Shake Milton would probably be the guy I feel the best about, but still, minutes are not secure for him. I would not be surprised, even with Tobias Harris out, if maybe he only plays 20 minutes. So there's just risk with every single one of these value plays. No one stands out. No way I'm playing Danny Green. Again, Korkmaz, Scott, Thibault, these guys will get a boost. Depending on who starts, probably is the safest, but Korkmaz, super reliant in the scoring. There is no minute security for him, even if he starts. I would not be surprised if he starts and plays 15 minutes. You have Mike Scott, who's been in and out in the rotation, has not been a good point per minute guy, and then you have Thibault, who's just out there for defense. So, yeah, again, you could consider these guys. I don't really like anyone, though. And I'm going to be saying that about a lot of value because there's no real standout value in my opinion. Moving on to Minnesota and Washington. Karl-Anthony Towns, also a really good spend up. Love the spot here against Washington. I think he goes a little bit overlooked. Was on pace for more minutes, foul trouble, and then fouled out. I do like Towns at the top. No Malik Beasley. I think Anthony Edwards does get a pretty big boost. I think he's firmly in play in the mid-range. He's also been up and down, so still a little bit hard to trust, but like the matchup, should play big minutes. Rubio, not as excited about him. I think he plays mid to high 20s minutes, which just makes him a fair play. And then we get to the Minnesota value. You guys know I love targeting these guys, right? No. Jared Vanderbilt, I couldn't tell you how many minutes he plays. If he plays 30, lock him in. He could play 10 minutes. So again, good luck. The slate feels like a lottery on the value. So yeah, I like Jared Vanderbilt. I have no idea how many minutes he's going to play. He randomly played 34 minutes out of nowhere. Previous games, 17, 16, and 11. So, yeah, I have no idea. Jordan McLaughlin, we kind of do know his role. He's going to play about 20 minutes off the bench. I think he's an interesting value play. Besides that last game was gone for 20, 26, 19, 26, 22, and 22 fantasy points. So he's been pretty consistent. I think he's a guy we kind of know what his role is. And then it's just, oh man, I do not like targeting these guys. But we got to consider the guys. We're still waiting on the starting lineup too. So Josh Okogie, Hernan Gomez probably gets in the rotation. We have McDaniels, Jalen Noel. Jarrett Culver might play. We know Minnesota loves extending the bench. So it's just, I think whoever starts, I probably would like. But again, there's no minute security for these guys. None. I would not be surprised if whoever starts plays like 15 minutes. So again, it's just a risk here with these fringe guys. Noel has been playing last 2 games 22 and 19 minutes. So if he starts, I think I would feel a little bit better about it, but still somewhat relying on the scoring. Again, Culver hasn't really played in a while, but he's available to play. If he starts, he's min-price. I do not like this slate. I'm going to continue to say that. Moving on to Washington, and on the Washington side, Russell Westbrook, I think is an interesting contrarian spend up. Everyone's going to go to Harden. A lot of people are going to Luka. I think Westbrook goes a little bit overlooked. He's got triple-double upside. It is a good matchup. You can definitely stack this game. Go Westbrook and Cat as a little bit contrarian stack as spend ups. Again, I think that everyone's going to go to Harden and Luka, but I don't mind going Westbrook, Cat stat. At stack, Brad Beal, more of the contrarian play because he's more reliant on the scoring, and Westbrook is in. Do prefer Westbrook, though, to Beal. Washington value, hey, good luck. Again, you can consider these guys. Bertans looks like he's playing, though, so that does make those guys riskier. You can take a shot in one of the three-headed monster of Robin Lopez, Mo Wagner, Alex Len. I have no idea how many minutes they're going to play. Denny Avdija, I played him last slate, literally got me 5 fancy points. Troy Brown, who knows if he's going to be in the rotation. So, again, you can tell the value on the slate is just horrific. Moving on to Indiana and New York. Malcolm Brogdon questionable. This is pretty big news. If Malcolm Brogdon is out, if Aaron Holiday starts at point guard, I actually think he would probably be one of the best value plays of the slate. So this is where we could get, if Brogdon is out and Aaron Holiday starts, that's a value play I actually would feel pretty decent about because I think he would start and probably play mid-20s minutes. So to keep an eye on that one. Again, Aaron Holiday hasn't been playing huge minutes, but if there's no Malcolm Brogdon, I would like him a good amount. And then TJ McConnell as well, is a pretty solid point per minute guy. I would assume the minutes go up. So Holiday and McConnell are the guys I would look to there if there's no Malcolm Brogdon. Even if Brogdon's out, I'm not really looking to Sabonis at that price. Would rather get to other spend-ups. Miles Turner sure is fine in the mid-range. Again, minutes kind of fluctuate on him. Previous 4 games, though, 36, 30, 32, and 37. So if he plays over 30 minutes, yeah, I think he's a decent play. A guy that can block some shots. I'm not super interested in a guy like Doug McDermott, very light in the scoring. Justin Holiday, sure, you can consider him. Jakar Sampson. Edmund Sumner might get some extended run, too, if there's no Malcolm Brogdon. He would be an interesting contrarian value play. Moving on to the Knicks. So Julius Randle, I think, does go overlooked. More of a contrarian sped up in my opinion, but definitely viable. Derrick Rose is a guy that I feel pretty good about with no Alfred Payton. He was on pace for probably low 30s minutes, and the game blew out. So Rose is a guy I do like a good amount here in the mid-range. I think he's one of the better plays in that range. Quickly, more of the contrarian play. He played a little bit more because of the blowout. I'm expecting, unless D Rose plays really bad, only about 15 to 18 minutes from Quickly, which again makes him more of just a GPP play. Would rather get to Derrick Rose. Value, Noel seems priced about right. I think Taj Gibson at 3-4 has played, probably gets around 20 minutes. Again, sure, you can play Taj Gibson, but I don't love it. And that's really it for the Pacers and the Knicks. So let's refresh Fantasy Labs. We got about 10 minutes left in the stream. I'm going to have to go a little bit quicker here. Oh boy. Okoro, Dean Wade. Magic are starting. Carter Williams, Fournier, Bacon. Dwayne Bacon. This is just, whew. Oh, man, this slate is terrible. All right, moving on to Denver and OKC. So, Jokic, interesting contrarian sped up. Again, I'm not going to play him over Luka. I'm not going to play him over Harden. I'm not going to play him over Cat. I'm not going to play him over Westbrook. There's other spend ups I prefer. Doesn't make Jokic out of play. Jamal Murray's been fantastic, but he's priced at a premium. I'll probably pass. Michael Porter Jr., another play that's I think will be somewhat popular. He could literally start and play 15 minutes, and I would not be surprised at all because Mike Malone does not like this guy, and he will bench him randomly at times. So if you play Michael Porter Jr., good luck. Fingers crossed. If I knew he's going to play 40 minutes, yeah, I would like him. But there's never minute security for him. Value-wise, Camposo has been getting consistent minutes. I think he's probably the guy I look to. Mid to high, or I would say high 20s to low 30s minutes. Fine value play. But that's really it for Denver. Moving on to OKC. SGA, contrarian spend up. Horford seems priced about right. Value-wise, no thank you on Roby. No thank you on Dort. No thank you on Baisley. Maladon had a big game last game, but normally he's a guy that will probably play low to mid-30s minutes and probably get around 20 fantasy points at almost 5K. Seems a little bit overpriced. With no Hamidou Diallo, I think Kenrich Williams at 3.8K probably gets around 20 minutes. I think he's a fair value play. But yeah, I will mention Ty Jerome too. Did he come out the bench, played 22 minutes. I have no idea if he even plays again here, so it's like a risk. You can take a shot here. Again, another questionable value play. You can play him, but like I said, there might be a chance maybe he just doesn't play. So that's it for OKC. Moving on to Utah and Orlando. So with no Mike Conley, this changes things for the Jazz. Previously, when I made the video, I was like, I don't really love the Jazz. I think this game is a good blowout risk. Now with no Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell becomes one of the better spin-ups of the slate, in my opinion. We'll run the point guard, gets a huge boost, has a pretty high floor, high ceiling. I do like him at the top. And then I do like Clarkson and Ingles a good amount in the mid-range. I think, like Derrick Rose, two of the best plays in the mid-range. Clarkson's going to come off the bench, should play about 30 minutes, will get shot attempts up. I do like him a good amount. And I like Joe Ingles too. He should start, should play about 30 to 35 minutes. Clarkson, Ingles, Derrick Rose, three of the best plays in that mid-range, in my opinion. Moving on to the Orlando Magic. Vucevic, contrarian spend up. No thank you on Fournier. No thank you on Ross. No thank you on Michael Carter-Williams. Al-Farouq Aminu with no James Ennis. Might play a little bit more. I'm expecting mid-20s minutes. Low usage guy. Sure. Playable for value. We have Dwayne Bacon starting. He's very light in the scoring. Again, good luck. You can play him. There's a lot of guys I'm going to say about this that they're playable, but I don't feel good about really anyone. Moving on to New Orleans and San Antonio. Zion Williamson, I do think goes overlooked. He's been on fire. This is a good matchup too. I could see stacking this game up to be a little bit contrarian, maybe like a Zion Lonzo stack, bring it back with like DeJounte Murray or DeMar, just go like full stack this game to get different. I could see doing that for tournaments. So Zion, again, I will not fault you if you go to him. He's been on fire. Ingram would rather get to Zion. Lonzo Ball's been pretty consistent. Mid-30s minutes, I think he's a solid play. Steven Adams, I think, is also one of the better plays in the mid-range. Should play about 30 minutes. A guy that can stuff the stat sheet. I do think he's a safe play with some upside. My one concern is there's been a few games, last couple of weeks where they've closed with Hernan Gomez, so a little bit concerned about that. Then Eric Bledsoe's at 5-1. He has played over 30 minutes in back-to-back games, but has kind of been disappointing so far. San Antonio, so we're still waiting on LaMarcus Aldridge news. That does change some things. We do have DeMar DeRozan in, which kind of takes a hit to the value. Let's see. Derrick Rose will start for Alfred Payton. Okay. LaMarcus Aldridge will play. All right. So with LaMarcus Aldridge playing, it just kind of muddies this up. Like, I'm not really interested in Pirtle then. DeMar DeRozan and DeJounte Murray at the top, I think, are both decent plays. Neither are priorities. Like, DeMar has missed the last 4 games. It was just because of personal issues, so I don't think he gets limited, but you never know. It's Greg Popovich. So, yeah, DeMar DeRozan and DeJounte Murray, I think, are interesting contrarian spend-ups. Again, Pirtle, Aldridge, I don't think I'm going to go there. And then this does hurt the value. Patty Mills, Lonnie Walker, not completely out of play, but definitely downgrade them. Final game is Brooklyn and Dallas. And, oh boy, you guys know I love targeting the value in both these teams, right? Luka Doncic at the top, I do think is a really good play. Love targeting players against this Nets team. This game has a super high over-under. The Nets play very little defense. So I do like Luka. Even with Porzingis back, I think Luka's one of the best spend-ups. Porzingis is a contrarian spend-up as long as there's no limitations. I think is interesting. I think a lot of people will pair Harden with Luka. If you want to go Porzingis over Luka to differentiate yourself, I'm fine with that in tournaments as long as there's no limit. And with Porzingis coming back, definitely downgrade the value here for Dallas. I think that there's still one guy I have some interest in, and that's Josh Richardson. I think he still plays mid-30s minutes. Again, not a super high usage guy, but I could see going to him at that price point. Other than that, like DFS, the minutes will probably still be there for him, but he's super, super low usage. I'm not going to any of the value bigs with Porzingis now. And finally, Brooklyn. So Harden at the top. Clearly, you don't fade Harden in cash games. Don't do that to yourself. The only way he doesn't get there is a blowout. So yeah, absolutely love Harden. Again, a clear spend up on the slate in my opinion. DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, this is another part of the reason why I don't like the slate is he's started a lot, and he's still played. Besides that one game against the Clippers, usually hovers in the 20 to 25 minute range. So it's like, will he play more minutes? I'm still not convinced about it, but he has been pretty solid recently. 29, 40, and 27 fantasy points. if I knew he was going to play over 30 minutes, I actually would like him a good amount for value. But there's just, for some reason, they don't want to play this guy more than like 20 to 25 minutes, which makes him a little riskier. Jeff Green is now back, which definitely downgrades the other value. He'll probably get the minutes, but a low usage guy. Yeah, sure. You can consider guys like TLC and Shamet and Tyler Johnson and Claxton. But nothing I really feel amazing about there. And that's really it. So you guys can tell, I talked about a couple of those guys in the mid-range I like. Guys like D. Rose, Adams, the Utah guys. Those guys I feel pretty good about. The spend-ups I feel pretty good about. Value, good luck. So that's my feelings in the slate. All right, so let's refresh Fantasy Labs. Let's make sure we're up to date and let's get some questions. Got about 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes for questions. All right, let's jump into it, guys. Bacon season? No, like seriously, he's playable. There's probably like 20 to 25 guys in that like 3 to 4K range that are playable. Do I feel good about anyone? No, I do not. Aldridge in, Peyton out. Yeah, so Rose, I think, is one of the better plays in the mid-range. Russ Beal, Towns, a better contrarian stack compared to the Harden, Luka, Porzingis. I mean, it's gonna be more contrarian. So the answer is yes. Cat Edwards, Russ stack, or Luka and Harden stack. Depends what you're playing. I think for cash games, you go for that second one. For GPPs, I'm perfectly fine going to the first one. Ingram, 7,700 in FanDuel. That seems a little bit too cheap. So yeah, I think it's a pretty decent play. And the reason I dislike the slate is it really forces you to get 2 studs in your lineup. Like, I think if you don't play 2 studs, you're doing it wrong. And then you have room for probably 2 mid-range guys, and then you got to go the value. So Embiid or Towns is a good question. I think they're very similar plays. Embiid has really struggled shooting the ball, but with no Tobias, he's going to have to do a lot more. It's basically a coin flip for me. Yeah, I like them both a good amount. Harden, Derrick Rose, Korkmaz, Dean Wade, Towns, Lonzo, Adams for cash. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Korkmaz, if he starts, I think that's the way I go to him. I'm not convinced at all by his minutes. There's no confidence in that. Dean Wade is so low usage. But how many minutes has he played last couple games? He's actually been in the rotation. 20 and 21 with no Osman. Maybe plays a little bit more. I'm fine with it. Bacon or Aminu? I would rather go to Aminu. Bacon more reliant on the scoring. Aminu's a guy that can stuff a stat sheet. I always lean to the value guys that can do more than just score. Can you play Porzingis, Luka, and Harden together? Of course you can. Like, that's a game that's probably the optimal stack. I would say Luka Harden is going to be very, very popular tonight. You can go Porzingis if you want to. It's going to be a popular stack. Again, other stacks I like are Minnesota, Washington, and then I think an interesting stack for tournaments is New Orleans, San Antonio. So maybe you do something like Zion and like Lonzo or Adams and run it back with like DeRozan or DeJounte Murray. Not optimal stack at all, but I think that's an interesting stack to differentiate yourself in tournaments. A Koji starting. Oh, I did not want to see that because he is just not a high usage guy at all. Osman out. Yeah, Koji starting with Vanderbilt. Sure. Another guy that, yeah, you can play Josh Okogie. He's, 3.5? I have no idea how many minutes he plays. Not really out there for the offense. Playable. Best value? I don't know if I honestly don't know if I have one. Let's see. Are the Utah guys considered value? Are Ingles and Clarkson considered value? Probably not. I will say this. If the minutes are there for Jarrett Vanderbilt, I think he probably has the most upside out of the value guys. Looking down here. Yeah, I think I'm going to say that. So if the minutes are there for Jarrett Vanderbilt, it's going to be him. Because he's a guy that when the minutes are there, he's actually pretty productive. But don't be surprised if he starts and plays 10 minutes tonight. So, yeah, Towns or Luka. I think I'll lean towards Luka. Any update on Brogdon? No update yet. If Brogdon is out, I think Aaron Holiday becomes a really solid value play if he starts. Aaron Holiday, McConnell. So those guys would look pretty good. Mitchell or Beal. I'll go Mitchell there. Okogie or Shamet. Probably Okogie. But this is not value I feel good about at all. Washington Wizards going to completely blow them out. They could. Minnesota's not a good team. Mitchell or Beal? Yeah, Mitchell. Let's see. What do we got here? How's his core? Harden, Edwards, Adams, and Westbrook? I'm fine with that, yeah. With Chetty Osman out, would Okoro be good for cash? I think he's never good for cash games. He actually has been a little bit better recently, but I don't trust it. So I mean, there's honestly no value I feel good about. So I guess, sure. Again, he's one of like 20 to 25 guys that are playable in that range. With Osman out, who's getting more minutes? I would say probably Dean Wade, Dylan Windler, those guys. Top 2 stud in your cash lineup, Harden and Luka for me. But Towns and Embiid are close behind. What about Lamb for value? He's been losing minutes. I think I would just rather get to Aaron Holiday because he's at the flat min. I would rather get to Aaron Holiday or TJ McConnell. Towns or Westbrook, I think I'll give the edge to Towns there, but it's close. Harden, Derrick Rose, Ingles, Dean Wade, Embiid, Noel, Porzingis, and Amino. I'm fine with it. Again, like, you got to play those value guys. I don't really feel good about anyone. Bruce Brown or Shake Milton is a good question. We don't have the Philadelphia starting lineup news yet, do we? I don't think we do. I'm going to say Bruce Brown right now. But like I said with Bruce Brown, like, it's going to be he probably won't play more than 25 minutes based on what we've seen. No Mike Scott. What, is Mike Scott out? Or are you saying, like, I mean, Mike Scott, if he starts, is playable. But again, Philadelphia has a lot of those guys that are just like super, super low usage guys that'll eat up minutes. I think it's just like boost to guys like Embiid and Ben Simmons, to be honest. Harden, Jokic, or Luka and Towns or Embiid. I mean, I just have a hard time fading James Harden. So the answer would be the first one. Harden, Mitchell, Adams, or Westbrook, Mitchell, Towns. I don't think I fade Harden in cash. So the first one. Who do you like for value? Literally no one. No one. There's 4 guys, I think, in the mid-range that look pretty good. Value, no one I feel good about. Now, that could change, right? If Malcolm Brogdon's out, I think Aaron Holiday, if he starts at almost mid-price, would look pretty good. Cheap center plays, let's go over that really quick. I think JaVale McGee is a guy I mentioned. If Jared Allen gets in foul trouble, because he's a really good point per minute guy. Other cheap center plays, I think if I'm going to take a shot in one of the Washington centers, it would be Robin Lopez. He's played the most consistent minutes, but don't be surprised if he only plays like 15 minutes. You can take a shot in Claxton. He may or may not play. Favors probably plays about 15 minutes. Taj Gibson probably plays around 20. There's playable guys down here, but no one I really, really like. About to cancel all injuries and click the green plus and wait on Bacon. It can't do it. Towns or Embiid for upside. I think Embiid might have a little bit more upside than Towns, but like I think they're almost identical plays. Bruce Brown playable for sure. Burks would rather get to D Rose. 7,600. Well, there's not a lot in this range. I never really like playing Sexton because he's just very, very reliant on scoring. I guess the answer is Gobert. I'm not really interested in him in this slate, but like I don't think you leave like $1,000 on the table. So yeah, Gobert probably plays 30 to 35 minutes. I have very little interest in him though on the slate. Any Joe Harris, his role doesn't change much, so not really. Shamet, playable. Shamet, playable. TLC, playable. Tyler Johnson, playable. Do I feel good about any of them? Absolutely not. Michael Porter Jr. and J. Rich, Porzingis, and Aminu. If there's no limit on Porzingis, give me the second one. Harden or Luka? Harden. Lonzo, Garland, or MPJ? Lonzo there, because I feel the best about Lonzo's minutes. Like it with MPJ. I always say this, but I never feel good about his minutes. Can you fade Luka? Yeah, you don't. I would say Luka is fadeable. I have a hard time getting away from Harden. I think that is one where I'm like, I don't see a way you fade him unless you think the game blows out. That's the only way I think you fade Harden. DeJounte Murray or Porzingis. So, Porzingis if there's no minutes limit. If there's a minutes limit, then go to DeJounte Murray. Tyler Johnson or Shamet. Tyler Johnson, I guess, but that is not confident at all. How's your day going? It's doing all right. I just don't really like the slate. I like your Top Shot collection. I was just in there looking. Oh, appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm going to make a video probably soon. I made a pretty big investment in Anthony Davis a couple days ago. Is Beal a good tournament play? Yeah, I think he's an interesting contrarian play. He'll be low owned. Harden, Shamet, Edwards, DeRozan, McGee, Rose, Zion, Wagner for GBP. It's risky. It's definitely risky. DeRozan, Zion will be low owned. Wagner, no idea what his minutes will be like. McGee is, not going to play a ton of minutes unless there's foul trouble. Do you have to play Harden? I think for cash games, the answer to that is yes. For GPPs, it's close, but crazier things have happened, right? We've seen just random blowouts. We've seen ejections. So you can always fade him in tournaments. But you're going to need something weird to happen. Any Jalen Noel playable. I just never feel good about the Minnesota value. So Koji's starting. Noel might play a little bit more, or they just add a guy like Jarrett Culver to the rotation, right? Minnesota is known for just really extending the bench. They have Hernan Gomez. Jake Layman can play. Jarrett Culver, right? They just have a lot of these guys that just soak up the minutes at the end of the bench that I have no confidence in any of these guys' minutes. No confidence. Maxi Kleber play, playable, but I don't love him with Porzingis back. Ty Jerome with no George Hill. He played well last night. There's one more body in the rotation, though, with Al Horford. Will he for sure play again? I'm not convinced about it. I would assume, since he played well last night, that he does play. My guess is 15-ish minutes, maybe a little bit more, but it's a risk. It's a risk for sure. Jordan or Noel, I don't really like either. I'll take the discount on Noel. Thank you, Chance, for the super chat. Since you're taking the night off, here's some profit. Dude, that is really, really generous of you. Thank you. I'm not completely taking it off. I'm still playing the big tournament, but I don't like playing this a lot. Oh, we are 3 minutes past lock. Our 3 minutes past my time here. I got to go stream for Patreon. So thank you for putting that in there. Good luck, guys. I really hope the value you play don't kill you. And hope the guys that you actually play get a lot of run. Korkmaz is starting, so I think he plays at least 15 to 20 minutes, but no real confidence in that. Korkmaz is very light in scoring, but definitely in play for value. All right, guys, thanks again. I will see you all back here for another stream on Sunday.